36. Discharge a committee. By means of the motion to discharge a committee from further consideration of a question or subject, the Assembly can take the matter out of a committee's hands, note, or a committee can take it out of a subcommittee's hands, back to reading, after referring it to the committee and before the committee has made a final report on it, and the Assembly itself can consider it. As long as the question is in the hands of the committee, the Assembly cannot consider another motion involving practically the same question. The rules governing this motion are similar to those applying to the motion to rescind or to amend something previously adopted, of which it is a particular case in certain applications, as explained in 36.10 through 11. Standard descriptive characteristics. The motion to discharge committee, 1. takes precedence over nothing, and therefore can be moved only when no other question is pending. Previous notice of intent to offer the motion at the next meeting can be given while another question is pending, however, provided that it does not interrupt a speaker. This motion yields all subsidiary, privilege, and incidental motions. 2. Can be applied to any main motion or any other matter that has been referred to a committee and that the committee has not yet finally reported to the Assembly. All the subsidiary motions can be applied to it. 3. Is out of order when another has the floor, but previous notice of intent to offer this motion at the next meeting can be given after another member has been assigned the floor, provided that he has not begun to speak. 4. Must be seconded. 5. Is debatable, and debate can go into the merits of the question in the hands of the committee. 6 is amendable. For example, a motion can be amended as to the time at which the Assembly is to consider the question, or an amendment to the effect that the committee be instructed to report instead of being discharged can be moved as a substitute. 7. Since the motion to change action already taken by the Assembly requires A. a 2/3 vote, B. a majority vote when notice of intent to make the motion has been given at the previous meeting with no according time interval or in the call of the present meeting, or C. a vote of a majority of the entire membership, any one of which will suffice. To prevent business from being delayed by a committee, however, there are 2 special circumstances under which the motion requires only a majority vote, even without notice. A. If the committee fails to report even within a prescribed time as instructed, and B. while the Assembly is considering any partial report of the committee. 8. A negative vote can be reconsidered, but not an affirmative vote. Further rules and explanation. Circumstances justifying the motion and alternative procedures. Action to discharge a committee from further consideration of a question or subject is generally advisable only when the committee has failed to report with appropriate promptness, or when, for some urgent reason, the Assembly desires to proceed in the matter without further aid from the committee, or wishes to drop the matter. If the committee to which the matter was referred has not yet taken it up, and it is not to move to reconsider the day of its committal or the next business meeting day, the appropriate motion is to reconsider the vote on the motion of referral, which requires only a majority vote. The motion of referral may have been a subsidiary motion to commit, Chapter 13, or a main motion, depending on the case, as explained below. Instead of discharging the committee, the Assembly can instruct it to report at a reasonable specified time. A motion to do this can be moved as a substitute, see Chapter 12, for a pending motion to discharge a committee, or it can be introduced as an incidental main motion when no question is pending. If no instruction as to time of reporting has been given previously, this motion requires only a majority vote for adoption. If it changes a previously specified reporting time before that time has arrived, however, the vote required is the same as for the motion to discharge a committee. No motion to discharge a committee is needed when a committee's final report on a referred question or subject has been received by the Assembly, since the committee is then automatically discharged from further consideration of the matter. Effective discharging a committee. When a committee is discharged from considering a matter, either by the adoption of a motion to discharge it or by the submission of its final report, the committee continues in existence if it is a standing committee, but ceases to exist if it is a special committee that was appointed to take up the matter. In any case, when the committee is thus discharged, its chairman returns to the secretary of the society all papers relating to the referred matter that were previously entrusted to him. When a committee is discharged from further consideration of a question which was pending at the time of its referral and which was referred by means of the subsidiary motion to commit, the question comes before the Assembly automatically at that time, unless the committee is discharged by means of a motion that includes specification of a later time for considering it. If no later time was specified in the motion, the question can then be postponed, if desired, or if the Assembly wishes to drop the matter, the question can be postponed indefinitely. If a motion to discharge a committee specified a later time for considering the question does not make it a special order, the question comes up under the same conditions as if postponed to that time without making it a special order. That is, it is a general order for the time named. If the motion to discharge a committee includes a provision making the question a special order, it requires a 2/3 vote, just as any other motion to make a special order. See 14:12-17 regarding the priority to which a question is subject when it is due to come up after postponement. On the other hand, a motion to discharge a committee from further consideration of a subject that was referred to the committee by means of the main motion is a particular case of the motion to rescind or to amend something previously adopted, Chapter 35. When such a motion to discharge a committee has been adopted, another main motion is needed to bring before the Assembly the matter that was referred, otherwise it dies. Form an example. The form used in making this motion as applied to a question being considered by a standing committee may be, Member A obtained the floor. I move that the Finance Committee be discharged from further consideration of the resolution relating to. Second, in the case of a special committee, the following form may be used. I move that the committee to which was referred the resolution relating to be discharged. Second, if it is desired to take up the question at a later time, there may be added to either of these above forms, for example, the words, and that the resolution be considered at 4 p.m., in which case it is a general order for that time, or, and that it be made a special order for. If the motion to discharge the committee is adopted and includes no provision for consideration at a later time, and if the question was referred while pending by means of the subsidiary motion to commit, the chair announces the result and immediately states the question brought out of committee. For example, Chair. There are 2/3 in the affirmative and the committee is discharged. The question is on the resolution. Resolved.